welcome back to another episode of the Daily O, sponsored by Fire Pizza. I'm Courtney Noisette. Thank you for joining us this evening. In the Atlanta, Georgia area, a gunman opened fire at 3 different massage parlors over the course of an hour Tuesday night. 8 people are dead and 2 or more injured after the shooting. The suspect was finally caught after a chase with the Georgia State Patrol. 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long is in custody after his crashing car in the chase. No motive has been released. However, we will keep you updated when we find out more information. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families affected by this horrible event. Embattled Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom of California is defending his response to the pandemic. This and growing criticism that his restrictions went too far. And Newsom's response is now being compared to Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, who did all he could to keep Florida open and is now getting a second look by conservatives as a potential 2024 presidential candidate. Here's more.
If you look at what's happening in South Florida right now, I mean, this place is booming. It would not be booming if it was shut down.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is standing unabashedly tall.
Los Angeles isn't booming. New York City's not booming. It's booming here because you can live like a human being.
A year after the pandemic began, Florida is not only back in business, it's been in business. And the governor's gamble to take a laissez-faire approach to coronavirus appears to be paying off, at least politically, at least for now. Florida ranks about in the middle of all states on coronavirus metrics. More than 32,000 people have died of COVID-19, and the state's per capita death rate ranks 24th. New York is far worse, and California only slightly better, despite stringent lockdowns.
While so many other states kept locking people down over these many months, Florida lifted people up.
DeSantis is standing out among governors on the front lines of the coronavirus fight, a new measure for politicians of all stripes. He is not facing a potential recall like California Governor Gavin Newsom, under investigation like New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, or being second-guessed for lifting a statewide mask mandate like Texas Governor Greg Abbott. DeSantis refused to implement one of those in the first place. And Florida's unemployment rate is 4.8%, compared to 6.8% in Texas, 8.8% in New York, and 9% in California.
When he went into office, I wasn't sure what was to expect, but he didn't do anything to hurt me as a business owner or me as a Floridian. So, fine with me.
Tom Golden didn't have much of an opinion on DeSantis a year ago, but with his St. Petersburg bar and restaurant not only surviving but thriving, he credits the governor. Even as a new test for Florida is looming with spring breakers crowding beaches, so far the state has weathered the pandemic stronger than most experts expected.
Is it the disaster that some people predicted it would have been?
No, I think everything deserves context. What I'd love to ask about Florida is, if we had done things differently in Florida, what would it have looked like?
Jason Salemi, an epidemiologist at the University of South Florida, said comparing one state to another is complicated, with Florida's humidity, for example, and New York City's density. And local ordinances on masks and the sizes of gatherings have also played a role. Now DeSantis has outraged many city and county officials by trying to take away their authority to put such rules in place. Throughout the pandemic, it's that defiant and combative DeSantis.
We've succeeded, and I think that people just don't want to recognize it.
Who has become a darling of many Republicans. He declines most interview requests, appearing only on propaganda programs.
Please come back soon.
We will. Thank you.
Charlie Crist, a Florida congressman and former governor, is among the Democrats thinking about challenging DeSantis for re-election next year.
In hindsight, do you think he deserves any credit for what he did?
Like I said, it's too early to tell. 33,000 of my fellow Floridians are dead. Does he deserve credit for that? Probably not. But could it have been better? Maybe so.
Crist and other Florida Democrats are calling for a Justice Department investigation into whether DeSantis gave preference to donors after invitation-only vaccination clinics were set up in at least 2 upscale communities.
Was there preference given to certain Caucasian, wealthy Republican communities in my state? Because it certainly looks like it.
A spokesman for the governor called the accusation ridiculous and has dismissed critics who've accused him of mischaracterizing COVID data. DeSantis campaigned and has governed in the mold of Donald Trump. Now he's seen by many grassroots conservatives as a potential 2024 presidential candidate.
We are an oasis of freedom in a nation that's suffering.
His future, of course, depends on the outcome of the rest of the pandemic. But it's clear he hopes to make that his new calling card.
To learn more about Oklahoma's COVID-19 response, you can go to ok.gov/COVID-19. This Women's History Month, OSU is celebrating Menstrual Hygiene Week. The Red Pantry is hosting the first ever Menstrual Health Week by offering a full week of interactive educational experiences. The Red Pantry is a branch of the Student Government Association with the goal of combating period poverty in Stillwater. There are 3 Red Pantry locations on campus: the laundry facility next to the Family Resource Center, room 211P in the Student Union, and at our Daily Bread. By request, the Red Pantry founder, Soraya Ko, said, quote, "Because of a lack of education or supplies, individuals can get infections or miss work or school, which leads to a chain reaction of events affecting financial situations, mental health, and education capacity. We want to bring up this topic to combat this," end quote. Soon you'll find the Red Pantry tabling outside of the Student Union, where you'll be able to find more information about their mission. Next, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Josh Wiesel will have the weather. For the Daily O, I'm Courtney Noisette.
All right, and welcome back. I'm Joshua Wiesel here in the Ocala Storm Studios. We've got a few things to talk about, including we have some typical Oklahoma weather for you with all of its craziness. Get a load of this. Out to our west, winter weather advisory, blizzard warnings. And to our east, we have a tornado watch until 8 p.m. tonight. This is just some Oklahoma weather craziness across the state. We had tornado warnings just to the east of our county earlier, and this is affecting parts of the Tulsa area. So for our campus out there in Tulsa, just stay weather alert for the next couple of hours as that tornado watch remains in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Some of these storms could be rotating. It's because we have this huge area of pressure from the storm system moving through. I'm going to show you what that's causing down in the southeastern United States. But for now, like I said, tornado watch for the next couple of hours out in the Tulsa area. So for OSU students at the Tulsa campus, just stay weather alert for the next couple of hours or so. And like I said, snow and a blizzard out in western Oklahoma. Fortunately, we're not going to get any of that activity here in Stillwater. Moving on, again, here's just preparing for the next couple of hours or so for the area in Tulsa, for that OSU campus. Like I said, have ways to receive alerts. The threat overall is low, but it's going to continue for the next couple of hours as the system pushes through. Check back for updates. And of course, you can view my website for live interactive radar, weather225.com. So make sure that you check that out. All right, moving on. Here's that risk as well. Like I said, overall, everything is low. This will be mostly low chance for tornadoes, maybe some isolated gusty winds and some hail. But like I said, overall, this threat is going to be low. It's going to be for areas east of Stillwater. We could see some thunderstorms here, but that severe weather risk is going to be mostly to the east. So here's what this storm system that's moving through our area right now is going to be producing and is actively producing today across the southeast. This is a rare 5 out of 5 high risk for storms, and the Storm Prediction Center doesn't usually issue these that often. These are usually events that you see once every storm season, or maybe twice, or maybe 3 times, rarely during a storm season. So we're already active for this time of the year. We're not even in April or May yet, so we could see a busy season ahead, but we do have that 5 out of 5 risk for parts of Alabama and Mississippi. And then that will continue to move off to the east along the eastern United States coast. So if you have family in these states across the southeastern United States today and tomorrow, make sure that you inform them to stay weather aware. There is a chance for maybe some significant severe weather along the southeastern United States. And we've been seeing tornadoes ongoing in Alabama and Mississippi for the last couple of hours. This will continue into the overnight hours as well. So our thoughts and prayers are going out to them. Moving on real quick, this evening and tonight, here's the next couple of hours. I've shaded them as yellow just because we do have that tornado watch to the east of us. Not really thinking that's going to happen for Stillwater, but this is just for the area. If something develops, we're keeping an eye on it, out on it, but we do have a chance for some light showers into the overnight hours, mostly to about 3 a.m. And then as we head into your morning hours, we're going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, and then we're going to warm up into the 40s by at least 9 a.m. tomorrow. So for tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be relatively pleasant. We're going to see partly sunny skies, a high of 55 across the area. Oklahoma City, Elk City, and Woodward are going to be in the lower 50s. And then as we head into Friday, sunny skies return, and it's going to be more pleasant, a high near 60 across a large portion of the state, warmer temperatures down to our south. So here's that dreaded allergy index. I know we all hate the allergens, and tree pollen is still at an all-time high. It is getting ridiculous, if you ask me. I'm ready for it to go away. So tree pollen, still high, air quality, rather moderate still, and grass pollen, it's somewhat low, but we're keeping a close eye on that. Fortunately, that hasn't risen either, so we don't have a lot of allergen issues across the area. So here's my 10-day forecast. Like I said, here's that red banner that I have usually for the chance for some strong severe storms. I'm not really confident that Stillwater is going to see storms exactly in our area. This is going to last for the next 2 hours or so for at least our area. And then as we head into this week, into this weekend, relatively pleasant and beautiful conditions across the state. Mostly sunny skies this weekend, a high of 65 Saturday and a high near 70 on Sunday. Showers and storms will return Monday, potentially into Tuesday. We're keeping a close eye on that. I'm going to step out of the way real quick so you can see the rest of my 10-day forecast. Then the next chance for rain coming up would be Wednesday into Thursday. High on Wednesday is 70. And then we're going to start lowering temperatures back into the 60s, but we'll quickly warm up after that. So this is a quick look at your forecast. Thanks for tuning into the weather segment. Coming up next is sports, so stick around.
I'm Jeff Watts, Chief of Police for the City of Stillwater. This year, on October the 18th and 19th, OSU alumni will be hosting Walk Around and the Homecoming Parade. During this time, Stillwater Police Department, Payne County Sheriff's Office, OSU Police Department, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Stillwater Emergency Management, and Stillwater Fire Department will be teamed up to provide a safe environment for all of our visitors and residents. During this event, you will see a very high concentration of police officers at every intersection. Don't be alarmed, this is simply there for your safety. If you are in a crowd and you happen to see something that you feel should be brought to an officer's attention, don't hesitate to contact the nearest law enforcement officer and bring that to their attention. Throughout the event, there will be comfort stations, there will be first responders. If you need medical assistance, don't hesitate to ask for help. Also, be sure to dress for the weather, bring plenty of water, and we recommend that you leave your pets at home, as these large crowds can oftentimes stress out your animals. We hope that you have a great time and that your experience here is a positive one. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to any of our emergency personnel or first responders. We'll be glad to help you in any way we can. Thank you.
Tired of paying for parking at those other airports? Fly Stillwater Regional Airport. We offer proximity, free parking, and short security lines. Still making long drives to Oklahoma City or Tulsa just for the airport? Stay close to home and fly with Stillwater Regional Airport. Daily non-stop flights to DFW with 800 plus flight connections in 29 countries.
Welcome back to the Daily O. I'm Asa Lucas. Let's get you caught up on some exciting sports news from the past few days. Oklahoma State baseball dropped a one-game series against the University of Louisiana Monroe Warhawks last night in a 13-6 defeat. The Cowboys lost just their third game of the season in a game that took place at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Although a disappointing loss, there were a few bright spots for the Pokes in this one. Freshman Jackson Kroll, Orlando Salinas Jr., and Marcus Brown all recorded their first collegiate hits in the game, with Salinas Jr. homering in the ninth inning for his first. The 11-3-1 Cowboys will look to rebound Friday when they open up Big 12 play against the Texas Tech Red Raiders in Lubbock. On over to softball. The Cowgirls will be hosting the Mizuno Classic right here in Stillwater starting tomorrow through the weekend. They have a busy schedule ahead as they are set to play 5 games in just 3 days. Tomorrow they are scheduled to face the Wichita State Shockers before taking on UTSA and Kansas City in the coming days. The number 8 ranked squad is off to an impressive start so far this season with a 20-2 record. The Cowgirls will begin their Big 12 play March 26th against Kansas in Lawrence. Moving over to the mat, OSU Cowboy Wrestling will be competing in the 2021 NCAA Championship this Thursday through Sunday, after arriving in St. Louis, Missouri on Monday. 9 wrestlers from OSU have qualified to compete, 4 of which earned top 10 seeds in their brackets. Redshirt sophomore Datton Fix is the number 1 seed in the 133-pound bracket, leading the weight class. Redshirt senior Bo Llewellyn and freshman A.J. Ferrari earned the 4 seed in the 149-pound and 197-pound brackets, respectively, after winning individual Big 12 championships in Tulsa. Travis Whitlake was also another Cowboy to earn a top 10 seed as the number 10 seed in the 165-pound bracket. Dakota Gear, Justin Plott, Trevor Mastro Giovanni, Austin Harris, and Wyatt Sheets will be competing for the Cowboys as well. They will look to make the fans here in Stillwater proud by winning their 35th national championship, and their first since winning 4 straight from 2003 to 2006. It's an exciting time for basketball fans in Stillwater, as the Cowboys are a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament and set to take on Liberty Friday night. Star freshman Cade Cunningham is a big reason they are in this spot right now, and it was proved why once again yesterday when he was named an AP All-American. Cunningham has been impressive this season, averaging 20.2 points per game, as well as 6.3 rebounds. He became just the first OSU basketball player in history to be named a first-team All-American. Cunningham has already been named the National Freshman of the Year, Big 12 Freshman of the Year, and the Big 12 Player of the Year. He is just the 4th person ever in the Big 12 to win both Freshman and Player of the Year in the same season, with an already impressive collegiate resume to his name. Cunningham and the Cowboys will be looking to add an NCAA championship to the list. Speaking of the NCAA tournament, the event commonly known as March Madness is set to kick off tomorrow in Indianapolis, one of the biggest sporting events of the year. The tournament for a basketball national championship is looked forward to by all basketball fans across the nation, including myself. This year, due to COVID-19 guidelines and rules, every game will be held in Indianapolis, unlike past years where games are held around the country until meeting in the main host city for the Final Four. There will be 4 playing games tomorrow throughout the day to determine which teams will be the last 4 in the round of 64. After that, the tournament gets into full stride with 48 games scheduled to take place from Friday to Monday. March is already a crazy time of year for college hoops, but with the added challenge of COVID looming, it makes things even more hectic. With the new rules put into place, any team that cannot play due to positive tests within the program will automatically lose, sending the opponent they were supposed to play on to the next round. Some top seeds are already in some trouble with COVID, as a number 3 seed Kansas will be shorthanded with 2 players, still unable to participate, and number 4 seed Virginia currently has all of their players being monitored in quarantine after a positive test last week. The NCAA reported yesterday there has been 5 positive tests out of the thousands conducted, but no teams are expected to have to drop out. Hopefully, COVID stays away for the majority of the tournament so fans can enjoy the madness that is in March. It is going to be in full capacity for the first time since 2019. Our very own Chris Notch caught up with Stillwater Mayor Will Joyce to see how Joyce sees the tournament going down and who he has winning the dance. Check it out.
All right, we'll stay on the left side here. Final Four, Gonzaga-Bama. Who's going on to the championship game here?
I'm gonna put Gonzaga in the final. Although you're making me question that because of the trends here, but I mean, they're 26-0 for a reason. It's a good, strong basketball team. They were supposed to play Baylor earlier in the year and didn't. You know, I think it would have been good to see that game, but based on what we know, I think Gonzaga's going to be a tough one. So.
All right, and then of course, Big 12 matchup: Baylor, Oklahoma State.
I mean,
this
is
would be
easy.
the fourth time meeting. So
this is easy. They got Baylor's number at this point.
I think it's more of a psychological thing for the players going, oh, okay.
Yep.
All right, championship. Who you got, Oklahoma State or Gonzaga?
I mean, head of the heart right here. Gonzaga is a better basketball team than OSU right now, but Cowboys make it to the championship game. They're going to win it.
We're going to tear down those nets.
We're going to cut down the nets in Indianapolis.
All right. What do you think, if you could, what do you think give me a final score.
Yeah, total. You want the final?
Just give me what do you think the final is?
Not the total, just the final.
Not the total, yeah,
so
we'll just do a final.
I'm going to call it 81-78.
So close game. Probably comes down to a Cade Cunningham type of heroics.
I think it's going to be one of those, everyone thinks it's going to be Cade getting the ball at the end, and they're going to run a little decoy play, and Avery Anderson's going to come through and hit the game winner.
Kind of do almost like the Bulls did, Michael Jordan, Steve Kerr, or Paxson type of thing. Of course, Gonzaga being led by head coach Mark Few and Jalen Suggs, who is one of the best guard players as well. So cool. Got Oklahoma State winning it all here.
This is it. This is the year.
This is the
year.
Be
like Syracuse. What was that? 04?
04, yeah.
04. It's going to be. They came out as a 4 seed, beat everybody in the Big 12 on their way through, and OSU's going to come out of the hardest bracket, and they're going to take it.
Yeah, and even for the Big 12, even the Big 10, you give them a lot of credit. They, of course, Big 10 has 8 teams in the tournament. The Big 12 was 7. Yeah. Along with I believe it was the ACC. So.
Yeah. I thought the Big 10 had like 9.
And maybe it was 9.
I think they have 9.
I know that you're right. It was 9.
When you do the bracket, you're like, well, it can't be another Big 10 team coming through here, but they're all Big 10 teams.
Right. Well, and it's so much different this year because it's all in one location. And so usually when they do regions, they do it kind of based off where you're located as well. Mm-hmm. So especially like for Gonzaga, you're really sitting a lot better because most of the teams you're with are the worst of their rankings. So helps them a lot. But
it is going to be really interesting to see how it goes with all of these teams. Because, I mean, these teams, when they make it to the final, they're going to be spending almost a month in Indiana.
Yep.
They're not coming home in between. It's going to be a weird dynamic for these guys that have been cooped up in hotel rooms for several weeks.
You want to watch the rest of Mayor Joyce filling in his bracket? Be sure to check out our YouTube page, O'Calley Media Group. The other main postseason tournament for college hoops is the NIT tournament, starting tonight. The 16-team tournament will be held in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at the Commercial Center and the UNT Coliseum. The participants of the tournament are invited after not making the NCAA tournament, but are usually teams right on the edge of doing so. It can make for some pretty entertaining basketball, as these teams have something to prove. In fact, OSU competed in the 2018 tournament, making it all the way to the quarterfinals. The games will begin tonight before culminating in the championship game on March 28th. Over in the professional world, NFL free agency is in full swing with some major signings in the past couple of days. So far, most of the top free agents have re-signed with their former teams and have agreed to continue playing for them. Perhaps the top free agent of this season was quarterback Dak Prescott, who re-signed with the Dallas Cowboys for 4 years and $160 million. Other notable re-signings have been defensive lineman Leonard Williams with the Giants, offensive tackle Trent Williams with the 49ers, and edge rusher Shaquille Barrett with the Buccaneers. There have been some big movers in the past few days, however. Offensive guard Joe Thuney has left the Patriots to play for Andy Reid in Kansas City. Rusher Bud Dupree has agreed to terms with the Titans after 6 seasons with the Steelers. And wide receiver Corey Davis is moving from Tennessee to the Jets in New York. Some of the most notable signings, however, have been made by Bill Belichick and the Patriots looking to restart a new dynasty post-Brady era. They went out and grabbed Pro Bowl tight ends Hunter Henry from the Chargers and Jonnu Smith from the Titans, edge rusher Matt Judon from the Ravens, and wide receivers Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne from the Raiders and 49ers, respectively. They also re-signed former MVP quarterback Cam Newton and bolstered their secondary with safety Jalen Mills from the Eagles. Be on the lookout for the Patriots and other teams to gain some success with fresh faces on the gridiron this season. The Oklahoma City Thunder were in action last night against the Bulls in Chicago. The Thunder were matched up against All-Star Zach LaVine, and boy, he brought out the whole bag of tricks. The game got started on one of the best posters of the season when Lauri McKinnon rose up over Moses Brown. But the story of the game was Zach LaVine. He justified his place in the three-point contest recently by dropping 7 threes and shooting 15 for 20 overall. The Thunder had no answer for LaVine, and he ended up with a whopping 40 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put up a 21, but it didn't help the cause, as the Thunder fell convincingly 123-102. Since we're on the subject of players having a big game, we got to talk about Dame Dollar. Damien Lillard dropping 50 on the Pelicans last night. The Trailblazers started off slow with the team falling behind for much of the game, but in typical Damien Lillard form, he wasn't having it and exploded in the fourth quarter to put together another comeback on his resume. His team was down by 2 with 2 seconds to go. They get it into Dame's hands. Getting ready. As clutch as always. And he pulls up and he draws a foul with ice in his veins, dropping his 17th and 18th free throws of the game to seal the win. While LeBron James has been stuffing stat sheets this season and in his 18 years in the NBA, he recently made a big move in a different sport, but not with his athletic ability. Yesterday it was announced that James will be a co-owner of the MLB team, the Boston Red Sox, after joining the Fenway Sports Groups as a partner. Along with the Red Sox, James will also have ownership stakes in the Liverpool Football Club, Roush Fenway Racing, and the sports network NESN, joining the investment group with his business partner Maverick Carter. LeBron and Carter will become the first 2 African-American partners in the Fenway Sports Group. LeBron was excited to join the group when asked after his win against the Timberwolves, stating, quote, "I think for me and my partner, Maverick, to be the first 2 black men to be a part of that ownership group in the history of that franchise, I think it's pretty damn cool. It gives me and the people that look like me hope and inspiration that can be in a position like that as well, that it can be done. It gives my kids and me a promise. I promise school more and more inspiration as well." End quote. I don't think this will be his last venture into ownership, and you can expect to see him in the stands at Fenway Park in the future. Thanks for tuning into our show today. Make sure to follow us on social media at @TheDailyo_TV. You can also find us on our show on Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Roku, and on Suddenlink Channel 112. We'll see you back here on Friday for The Dailyo. I'm Asa Lucas. Have a great night.
The Dailyo is brought to you by Firo's Fire-Kissed Pizza.
Oh, there you go. Superstar.
The end of the practice is when we do all of our, intensity drills.
Okay.
She was going at it.
Stop. If we get them to Detroit by, let's say Monday the 15th. Right there. There we go. Yeah. Just, you can't.
Don't want to talk about it.
When you see the water tower, you're going to make a right.
If we win this, is the one way to get to the playoffs.
I know.